people of the internet. Welcome to the today. This is which podcast is this? This is the Martial Energetics podcast.
It's the Tai Chi web show.
Tai Chi web show. That's today's one. So on the Tai Chi web show, we're going to talk about mind-body mastery. So Dane is here because he's a mind-body mastery coach, and he is prepared to tell us all about what this is. So Dane, why don't you tell me about yourself real quick, and then get into what is mind-body mastery and why do you teach it?
So mind-body mastery is kind of the outgrowth of Qigong, and what we teach and what we talk about on this channel is things related to Tai Chi, Qigong, internal martial arts, and mind-body mastery, which extends beyond the traditional Chinese martial arts and into a way of life, a way of living, how you interact with the world, and mind-body mastery essentially is the experience of having the optimal experience of life. It's not about being perfect. It's about being the best version of yourself that you can be in this moment in a continuously expanding, upwards evolving process.
Okay. That's pretty broad. All right. I like that.
Okay. The Qigong is, when I say it's an outgrowth of Qigong is based on the three regulations: body regulation, breath regulation, mind regulation. These are the foundations of human performance enhancement broadly in all areas.
Yes. Okay. So in your coaching curriculum, people will learn, like, give me three primary skill sets that people start to practice and learn.
Okay, well, the central practice in mind-body mastery is some kind of personal daily mind-body practice, what I call an energetic hygiene practice, and of course, I think Qigong is the best one. Qigong is the ideal mind-body practice for pretty much everybody, at least as a foundational mind-body practice. So we have a video series on YouTube and here on Facebook, 90 Days of Qigong. It's designed to help anyone get addicted to Qigong. It's simple, easy, 15 to 20 minutes. Just follow along for 90 days, get addicted, and make this a part of your life, because I use the term energetic hygiene because it really is like cleaning up. It's like just doing light house cleaning every day and maintaining the cleanliness of your home, or regular hygiene that you do. Once you get used to brushing your teeth, you don't see it as a drag or an investment. It's just something you do, and you wouldn't want to skip it. And anybody who has a mind-body practice of some kind, whether it's Qigong or if it's something like yoga or meditation, or even just exercise in general, when you develop the pattern of doing that and you luxuriate in it, you actually tap into the innate enjoyment and passion of that activity. It's something you don't want to skip because it makes you feel great, and anymore you want to skip brushing your teeth, it'll just feel yucky, So
that's true.
It's not like you got to force yourself to do something that's unpleasant. It's like having this essential feature of your life, a daily energetic hygiene practice. And then there are other habits also, because mind-body mastery and all kinds of success really is built on habits. And habits are a foundational element of mind-body mastery. The daily mind-body practice is one of those habits. And another key one is journaling, or actually what I call a personal logbook, actually keeping a written record of certain things about your body and your daily life, your energy, your emotions, your food intake, your physical activity, and just like keeping like a captain's log, where you actually monitor with keep your constant attention on how, for example, how what you eat on what you eat, what your emotional state is, and over time, that
Yep.
awareness develops into an awareness of all these connections. So if if you're feeling off, it's becomes easy to look back or to think back and see what the connection is, and then tweak whatever you need to tweak about your daily routines or your habits to feel great, and also to anchor in whatever positive habits you want to establish. So the main two features of mind body mastery would be those two primary habits: the daily qigong or mind body practice, and the daily personal logbook.
Okay. Yeah, I've been a big fan of journaling for about 3 years now. So I've been doing a daily journal for a long time, and I've created over 500 pages of text in that few years, and it's amazing how much documenting your life, makes you remember things, and you can go back and look at those 2 paragraphs on that day, and you're like, I remember that day. Now I know it all. And if you don't log it, it's just another day gone in the wind, right? I love journaling. Yeah. Highly recommend it to anybody. Highly recommend it.
And it's the sort of thing that the more you do it, the more you realize how valuable it is. The longer you do it, like I couldn't, like I can't skip doing that. Like if I did, like I would, a little part of me would be slightly freaking out about that.
I have to, if I don't get a few details in, I'll go back from the day. Like the next day, I'll go fill out the day before, and like, I remember it. Still remember it, as long as it's still fresh. It's you don't try to journal 2 weeks ago. That doesn't help. It's gonna get all muddled. Yeah, you gotta keep consistent, just like the qigong. So daily breathing exercises just calms down, cleans out your lungs, and you feel good. And then you can start your day. And I do that consistently. So I'm glad I do both those practices. So good. So how long have you been practicing qigong that makes you feel that you're an expert and you have the gravitas to tell other people what to do when they're doing qigong?
Well, that's a great question. I guess I want to qualify that I don't feel like I have the that I'm like entitled to tell anybody what to do, but I do know some stuff that I know. I know that I know some stuff, and I know that it's great. I know that it's helped me. I know it's helped other people, and I'm happy to share what I know, and to invite and assist people with their own mind body mastery journey. And I guess when it comes right down to it, the proof is in the pudding. There's lots of qigong teachers out there. Most of them, many of them, not most of them, are great. There's lots of great types of qigong you can learn. And so if you like what we do, you're welcome to join us.
Of course.
I started doing qigong as a part of internal martial arts back, I guess it was 2004 or so, when I began practicing internal martial arts. I've been practicing external martial arts for 12 years prior to that, and that was when I began my internal martial arts journey and got introduced to qigong. And it's been a very long journey since then of my own, but I just love being at a place now, and I recognize, and we can talk more about like how to get started with this, because saying I've been journaling for 3 years and it's great, and I've got a daily qigong practice, but if you're getting started, like that can sound like kind of hard to do, and it has been effort over years to establish these patterns, but it's really great now after all these years of concentration and dedication and effort to be at a place where I feel like this is something that I wouldn't do I wouldn't skip it for anything. I wouldn't give it up for the world. And looking back, I can see it's just incredible to me how deeply and profoundly I've transformed on so many levels of my being since beginning these practices. That's maybe the most incredible thing about it. Aside from just like from seeing other people emerge and flourish from what you're able to share with them, but just being able to see who I was even a year ago, let alone 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It's just, I'm just truly grateful to have this practice in my life.
Good. That's I commend you greatly, because those are some good points that I've noticed from teaching and from personal practice. It's just like the stark difference between 10 years ago and now of consistency. Yeah. You just look at your skill level of what you were capable of 10 years ago, and then, well, the things that I stopped practicing, they're almost gone. But the things that I kept a daily or a weekly practice, I'm good enough that I'm better than 90% of the people I meet at it, and then, sometimes 95. And you get to 95, you're basically an expert.
I'll tell you something that I've noticed lately that's been kind of an eye opener. Just fairly recently, seeing a few people from my childhood or young adulthood, like old school friends or college friends, who are my age now, and they're like saying, "Oh gosh, Dane, we're getting old." I'm like, really? That's how you feel? Like,
yeah.
I'm in the best shape of my life, and looking forward to growing and improving every day. Like, and I love being alive. I love my life, and everything is every day in every way. I'm getting better and better. Like, I'm, gosh, is that really how you feel? Wow.
That's very true. I've been on that kick for a long time of better every day, better than you were yesterday. And I learned it originally probably from Tai Chi and Kung Fu, but I've seen it many times in my life, and it's like, if I didn't notice it, then I don't know what it would be. But definitely being better than you were yesterday, stronger than you were yesterday, faster, all that, healthier than you were yesterday. That's the best goal you can have. Because you never want to go down. You always want to go up.
At least, even if not day by day, because there's always ups and downs, but at least average over time. It's totally possible. It's totally a choice. That's the fundamental message of mind body mastery coaching. It is a choice. When I hear and I hear these people say this, and when I hear people just express their limiting beliefs in general, I can't help but let them know that, oh, you feel that way? It's a choice. You don't have to feel that way. Life doesn't have to be that way. It's a choice. I mean, you can, do that. You can choose that. My friend the other day said, I think I'm so deeply entrenched in corporate America, I can never escape. And I thought to myself, and then I said, wow, I wonder how it feels to have that thought.
Yeah. It's like being stuck in a prison. It is. I've had that thought.
Yeah. And like, it's a choice. It's a choice to have that thought, to have that belief. And does that mean that situation is going to change immediately overnight? No, but it makes the difference between being stuck where you are and consciously or subconsciously believing that's as far as you're going to get, or recognizing where you are and looking and planning towards how you are going to progress to the next level. And that's, whoever you are, wherever you are in life, that is the mindset that makes the difference between poverty and freedom, is that recognition that you are the cockpit of your life. You get to be the CEO of your life, and be setting your sails, so to speak. If you want, and you don't have to. You can choose to be disempowered and miserable and whatever else you want. Those are all options.
Yeah, as the Buddha said, life is suffering, but it's a choice. Tag. Well, all right. So, mind-body mastery. What kind of examples would you say is like, oh, this person, they got it, and this person, they almost had it, but they missed it. Something like that. Can you give me anything like that so I can?
Well, the definition of mind-body mastery is actually that there's certain things that you can do to optimize your experience of life in terms of energy, focus, motivation, vision, and there are certain things you can control. And of course, in life, there are certain things you can control. There's certain things you can't control, and that's why that analogy of setting your sails is one that I love so much. Because if you're in a ship on the ocean, you can't control the weather, you can't control the currents, but you can control your sails. And guess what? People sailed all over the world like this, without steam power or gas power. Just by setting their sails, you can actually control the direction you go. So given these things that you can control, that is what will determine your overall direction in life. And so it's not a matter of where you are, it's a matter of your trajectory. And whoever you are, wherever you are, you can control these things that you can control that will determine the direction you're taking in life, whether you're moving forward or you're retrograding, or whether you're expanding or shrinking, whether you are moving towards an optimal experience of life or moving away from it. So mind-body mastery in that sense is relative to each individual, and it wouldn't be accurate or appropriate for like one person to look at another person and determine like whether they have achieved mind-body mastery or not. It's only something that like you can determine for yourself. By being honest with yourself about what you truly want from life and where you truly are, and that's like what the gauge is. So, I'll give you an example of that sort of something that's like really striking about the difference this kind of thing makes, which is I was teaching some free classes for some assisted living facilities, and these were classes for there'd be about 10 to 20 people, and these were people who were mostly they were just like old and broken down in various ways. Many of them had trouble even just standing, and they had chairs, and they like maybe had to hold on to a chair or sit down part of the time, or sit down the whole time even. And they had various just physical ailments, and things like dementia, and just the ways that the human body degrades over time and breaks down. Circulatory, respiratory, cardiovascular, so on and so forth, and neurological, and there was so it was a really interesting experience of teaching qigong and adapting to this environment and this group of people. But while I was doing that, there was one man in particular that I remember, because he was pretty healthy. He was one of the healthier ones. He could stand up okay, and he was actually he was showing me how healthy and flexible he was, and how he could like squat down all the way, and
Good.
but his mind was also very deteriorated. He was like pretty severely suffering from dementia, and uh, and he was and he was telling me like how proud he was of like, you know, what he, you know, how good a shape he was in at 60 years old.
60.
Yeah,
Okay.
at 60 years old, yes. Um,
Okay.
and uh, and that and you know, he was definitely in better physical shape than most of the people that he was living amongst. Um, and that night I went to an event where there were it was a kind of a conscious community event,
Okay.
where there were it was kind of the opposite end of the spectrum of health and wellness, uh, and there was a man there who it happened to be his 60th birthday, that like I think that day or that week, uh and he like basically just like had stood tall and strong, had a body like a Greek god, um, and it really struck me just the contrast of what self-care, the difference that self-care makes, and positive energy, and 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 consistent mind body mastery practices. Um, and you know, there's always differences for genetics and circumstance, but the single largest determining factor in human life is consciousness, is human conscious, human will, and desire to shape our lives and shape our circumstances. So that was just an experience I had that like really impressed this upon me, and kind of made me glad that like I'm glad I discovered this at such an early age,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't come to these things and don't discover these things until they're much older, until things are starting to break down. And you know, I kind of found my way into this when I was in my early 20s, and uh, and the and I can even, and it even shows up as the difference I mentioned earlier. You know, I'm in my late 30s now, and everybody else I grew up with is saying they're old, and you know, they're moaning and groaning like an old
Falling
man.
apart.
And well, they're not falling apart yet. I mean, they're in decent shape, but you know, they're complaining, and you know, their posture's starting to slouch, and they're like, oh, I'm old. You know, you're only as old as you think you are, dude. And you know, speak for yourself. If you want to have that story about what life feels like, you're free to. It's an option. It's not a story I would want to have. It seems to me I could feel pretty crappy to have that story, and the one I have feels great. And if you want to have this one, you can too, or you know, your own version
Yeah.
of whatever makes you feel good. It's a choice. It's your choice. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's it's great to have that kind of experience, to just see like what a difference this makes. And it really goes back to saying the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
Very true. I like that one a lot. I've met many people who've done Tai Chi for more than, 1 year, 2 years. And the longer you do it, the better you are at it, of course. But masters that I've met, they started when they were 55. They're like, oh yeah, I didn't really work out for a few years and I needed to get my health back. So I started doing this, and
And their
my
masters in
life
their
changed.
70s
And
and
now
80s.
they do this every day for multiple hours. And they're like, I feel healthier today than I did when I was 55, when I started. So it's amazing. And it's such a good practice. And I'm really glad I found it too. So I agree with you there. Best day to start is today.
Yeah, and not just Tai Chi or qigong, but just a mind body practice of some kind. And qigong is a great one, and will certainly help you get started if that's what you want to do. But this is not something you have to be a martial artist, to benefit, to use these tools and to benefit from these tools. Qigong was not originally a martial art; it was a healing modality. And so wherever you are, if having the optimal experience of life, feeling as good as you can possibly feel on a day-by-day basis, and having the best possible experience of life that you can possibly have, given your condition and circumstances and history and everything, then you're able to benefit from these tools. And that's what our purpose and mission is. That's what everything we do is for. That's what Mind Body Mastery coaching is for. That's what we're passionate about sharing and teaching with the world.
Very beautiful. All right. Well, that is a perfect way to end it, I believe. And thank you very much for coming, Dane. And I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be doing our web show next week and talking about some more fascinating topics. And I'm looking forward to it.
All right. I'll talk to you later, brother.
All right. Thanks. Bye. Peace out.